and also in bringing innovative changes, not only in the field of e-mobility, but also in development of infrastructure and also the governance aspect of the various facets of introduction of technology. I heartily welcome you, sir. It's a great privilege for all of us to be able to hear us today. India recognizes the critical importance of BRICS NU University, and that is reflected by the fact that the finest university, the academic institution of India, that is IIT Bombay, which has been consistently ranked as #1 in the QS rankings, is the lead partner from our side, from India. I congratulate and thank Professor Suhashish Chaudhary for maintaining the highest level of academics in IIT Bombay and also for being instrumental in organizing this seminar. All our partner countries, we all in the BRICS, do recognize the critical importance of education for sustainable development and inclusive growth. And mutual collaboration between all of us is a necessary for proper development, especially in the area of research and innovation. I'm sure the BRICS Network University, which was established in 2015 with the commitment from all our governments, will be instrumental in taking the message forward. I look forward to the more discussions in this regard when the governing board meets again later this month as a part of the 13th BRICS Summit being hosted by India this year. As I said, IIT Bombay, the lead institution, is way ahead, not only in terms of their academics and research, but particularly in the field of e-mobility, and therefore it is very apt that today we are having this webinar hosted by IIT Bombay. Some of the themes that have been chosen for discussion during this 3-day webinar include traffic management, hydrogen technology, hybrid vehicles, as also lithium-ion batteries, linkage between e-mobility and livelihoods. Each of these themes is very, very relevant. I am not an expert in this subject. I come from the administrative side. But let me just share my experience as an administrator that technology and societal needs, they both go together. About a decade ago, the electric three-wheelers which came to small towns in India, they have revolutionized the type of traffic that we see in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, while the longer distances are covered by buses or by the metro. The short distance travel from the metro station or the bus station to the workplace or to their residences is covered by the electric three-wheeler, which we popularly call as e-rickshaw. On the one hand, it is sustainable. It has reduced the pollution in various cities. It does help the citizenry in their transport needs. And it has also generated a lot of livelihood and employment opportunities in smaller towns. So this is indeed, this is just an experience or an observation as an administrator, but I am sure we will learn a lot more from the speech of the Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Nitin Gadkari ji. I wish all success to this webinar and once again congratulate Professor Suhashish Chaudhary for maintaining the highest standards in academic excellence at IIT Bombay and for hosting this webinar. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Mr. Khare, for your wonderful initial talk. We really enjoyed that. And now we move on to our key speaker today, our plenary, Honorable Minister Shri Nitin Gadkari ji. And before that, we'll have a very brief introduction of Mr. Gadkari. So we'll have a very quick video-based introduction.
लावली का रे फिल्म लाव ना
Requesting the office to please start the video.
तुला सांगितलंय त्याने फिल्म लाव ना आपली फिल्म आहे ना इंट्रोडक्शनची ती तुला माहिती नाही कुठे आहे
It has not come to the screen. Could you please move it to the main screen? Okay.
आली
There are followers, there are leaders, and then there are visionaries. Taking people and society to where they ought to be rather than where they want to be is what separates a visionary from a mere leader. This rare quality is what sets apart Nitin Gadkari, Honorable Minister of Road Transport and Highways and Minister of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises from many of his ilk. With his indefatigable positive energy and a deep desire to use politics as a catalyst to serve society, Nitin Gadkari continues to impress all with his sterling performance over the years. Born in 1957 into a free-thinking agricultural family, Nitin Gadkari at heart has always been a social worker inspired by the RSS founder K.B. Hedgewar's ideals of humanity and nation building. Nitin Gadkari has been shouldered with immense responsibility by the party from an early age. He was only in his 30s when he took over as PWD minister in the BJP government of Maharashtra during 1995 and 1999. His stupendous performance has been thoroughly appreciated by the BJP, who went on to make him their youngest ever party president at the age of 52. Since then, he has gone on to become one of the best performing ministers of the BJP government. Taking off as a Minister of the Public Works Department in 1995, Nitin Gadkari made groundbreaking changes in the speed the city of Mumbai travelled. 55 flyovers dotting the city have made commuting in Mumbai much easier than ever before. The foundation of the magnificent Bandra-Worli Sea Link was also readied during this time. The jewel of the crown of Maharashtra, India's first expressway, the world-class Pune-Mumbai Expressway, is also a futuristic project imagined and brought to fruition by Nitin Gadkari. Connecting over 13,000 unconnected villages with an all-weather $100 million project is another feat accomplished by this far-sighted visionary. Nagpur, his hometown, has seen world-class institutions like IIT, IIM and AIIMS emerge and thrive under his watchful gaze. This is in addition to the over 1,000 Ekal Vidyalayas that go a long way in molding the future tribal generations. Providing financial support for performing over 10,000 successful heart surgeries is another stupendous achievement in his illustrious career as a warm-hearted do-gooder. Cemented roads and metro rail have added a new vitality to the way people travel in the city. Festivals like Khasdar Sanskritik Mahotsav, with a reach of more than 10 lakh people over 17 days of festivities to promote the local as well as national artists at a huge platform, have been organized. Krida Mahotsav, a sports festival with participation about 10,000 sports persons, where Nitin Gadkari shared his dream of the Nagpur youth representing at the Olympics. Farmer-friendly projects like AgroVision, along with his idea of using sewage water for power generation, use of ethanol as fuel. As India's current Minister of Road Transport, Highways and MSMEs, he has re-energized the whole sector with his clear vision. Be it reviving stalled projects of over $1 trillion or doubling the speed of highway construction, his lofty targets have always been achieved well before the projected timelines. With 40,000 kilometers of national highways constructed in the last 5 years, 60,000 kilometers of new roads under his supervision are being constructed. The speed of road construction from a mere 3 kilometers per day before 2014 has grown to 29 kilometers per day in 2019. Bharatmala and Sagarmala, two world-class access-controlled expressway projects led by Nitin Gadkari, are presently in various stages of construction. Exploring alternate modes of transportation like waterways mirrors the speedy and revolutionary transformation of the Indian landscape initiated by the bridge-building messiah, as he is fondly referred to. Nitin Gadkari is the leading hand in shaping the dream of a new India as envisaged by Narendra Modi. His unparalleled ability to complete gigantic projects before time makes him an invaluable national leader. The larger-than-life Namami Ganga project top priority national mission, Clean Ganga, is also progressing at top speed under his keen-eyed supervision. With Nitin Gadkari taking charge, India's most maligned logistics sector has also metamorphosed from a point-to-point model to a hub-and-spoke model. This multi-modal transport system integrates railways, highways, inland waterways and airports, conjuring a highly effective transportation grid, substantially reducing logistic costs and pollution. 35 multimodal logistics parks, 50 economic corridors, 10 intermodal stations are being readied, logistics summits with international participants including government organizations and the World Bank, leading to MOUs worth 2 lakh crore, have been held to add muscle to the initiative. Gifted with an ability to dream the seemingly impossible dreams and getting them to fruition also defines this clairvoyant visionary. Nitin Gadkari shines on as one of modern India's pioneering leaders and his work a template for the coming generations. If there ever was a name to the infrastructure man of India, it would be none other than Nitin Jairam Gadkari.
Thank you for the video introduction of Honorable Mantriji. Now it's our great pleasure to request Honorable Mantriji to have his speech.
of Education, Government of India, Professor Shivashish Chowdhury, Director, IIT Bombay, Professor Amit Agrawal, Dean, International Relations, IIT Bombay, all distinguished delegates, invitees, and all my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to hear with you all at the BRICS Network University World Conference, and I would like to thank IIT Bombay for giving me the opportunity to address all of you on electric mobility. Under BRICS, the government of India, Brazil, Russia, China, and South Africa share common vision and strategic plan on sustainable development and inclusive economic growth in the region. BRICS Network University is established under Brasilia Declaration and displays an important role in the field of science, technology, research and innovation across the various sectors, including sustainable mobility is one of them. I always feel that the knowledge is the power. The innovation, entrepreneurship, science, technology, research, skilled, and successful practices, we name it as a knowledge. And conversion of knowledge into wealth is the future. And that is the most important priority and agenda for our government, that by using the technology, we want to make our country strong, and at the same time that technology will be helpful for the other part of the world also. We are committed to achieve sustainable development goals by United Nations, and we need to focus our collective efforts towards a clean, green and sustainable community. Transport sector contributes to about 23% of carbon dioxide emission globally, and about 18% of CO2 emissions came from the road transport sector in India. India imports rupees 8 lakh crore of crude oil and this will get doubled in the next 4 to 5 years, will have a huge impact on the economy. So we need the policy import substitute, cost effective, pollution free and indigenous. That is exactly the policy of the government. The protection of ecology and environment is equally very important. It is the topmost priority for all of us, and we have to gradually shift from emission caused by petrol, diesel engines towards cleaner and greener alternatives. We are also working on the line that diversification of agriculture towards energy and power sector. We have wheat surplus, rice surplus, sugar surplus, corn surplus. And that is one of the reasons that we are facing very crucial problem in agriculture sector. Our MSP is higher as compared with the international price and the domestic price. And that is one of the reasons that now we are allowing not making ethanol only from sugarcane juice, molasses, BAB molasses, but now we are allowing making ethanol from food grain, that is from corn, that is from rice, and using up all food grain for making of ethanol, bioethanol from it. Presently, the Prime Minister has launched a scheme, E100, and where in the Brazil it's a success story that they have flex engine. All the automobile giants are all present in Brazil. Those who are in India, they are already making flex engine in Brazil, Canada and USA, where there is an alternative to the people that whether they can use 100% petrol or 100% bioethanol. Now Indian production we are going to increase, by which presently because of the rise in the petrol price, people are facing a lot of problems. The ethanol price will be 62 rupees per liter and petrol price is more than 100 rupees per liter. As far as the caloric value of ethanol is concerned, the 750 ml of petrol or 800 ml of petrol equal to 1 liter of the ethanol. Still there is a 20 rupees saving per liter, and it is import substitute, cost effective, pollution free and indigenous. For all the racing cars in the whole world, the ethanol they are already using as a fuel. India is a power surplus nation. E-mobility would be the most effective solution to develop import substitute, cost effective, indigenous and pollution free mode of transport. As a part of climate agreement, India has committed to reduce carbon emission by 35% by 2030. I recently chaired a meeting to push research and development efforts towards alternative battery technology such as metal ion, metal air, etc. Our research and academic institutions like ISRO, DRDO, IITs are working hard on the development of indigenous and low-cost battery technology for electric vehicles. We can generate 81% of value of lithium-ion battery in India, and I am pushing for research of its substitutes such as sodium-ion, zinc-ion batteries. Simultaneously, we must aggressively pursue research for green hydrogen as a fuel. The research performed by IIT Madras in hydrogen fuel cell is very interesting, where they are trying to generate energy from sea-based salt water and solar power. The low-cost raw material for batteries can be made available from scrapping of old vehicles. Metals like aluminium, iron and lithium can be extracted also. Rare earth elements such as neodymium is also extracted, which is used as an NDFE magnet in EVs. In the next 2-3 years, mass production of electric cars, scooters, buses, auto rickshaw will lead to same capital cost in comparison to diesel and petrol version today due to economic of scale. We have a great thing that our two-wheeler, TVS, Bajaj and Hero, they are exporting their 50% of the production. I have already launched an electric bike and electric scooter from Bajaj and TVS. Very beautiful product is there. So this is the time that we can make it. We need to reduce the cost. If the number of manufacturing vehicle will be more, 100% cost will be reasonable. The indigenous battery technology, localization of EV components and huge domestic demand would make EV a most affordable means of transport. Global giants like as Tesla and Triton EV are soon expected to enter into the Indian electric vehicle market. I am confident that India will be the largest manufacturing hub and supplier for electric two-wheelers and three-wheelers and cars. Presently, our automobile industry's turnover is 6,50,000 crore. And I am confident that we 100% within 2 to 3 years, we will take it up to 12 lakh crores. And my idea and my vision is to make Indian automobile industry as a number one manufacturing hub in the world. All reputed brand in the whole world like Mercedes, BMW, Toyota, Honda, Hyundai, all are present in Indian market. Now also a lot of people are doing electric trucks. We are also interested to make construction equipment machinery also on electric, on ethanol and bio-CNG. We have converted tractor also on bio-CNG, and also one of the tractor is ready for launching, which is already on electric. So we want to encourage the people and a particular research for that. The size of Indian automobile industry, which is rupees 6,50,000 crore, and mass manufacturing of EVs in India will further strengthen the industry and bring employment opportunity. The automobile industry in India is creating maximum employment opportunities in the country. And that is the most important thing as far as the employment is concerned. To e-vehicle expansion is very important for the development and progress of our country. Also, there is a huge opportunity for manufacturing of electric bicycle. The bicycle industry size is on the world size is 6 lakh crore, out of which Indian export is only 25 to 30,000 crore, and the China's share is more than 3 lakh crore. But the Hero company just I got opportunity to launch their industry in Ludhiana, and they are making e-bike, which are specially designed in their institute in Germany. And 100% I am confident e-bike industry is going to create huge market, and 100% is industry Indian participation and Indian contribution will be increased up to 2 lakh crore within 3 years. This is also a equally very, very important industry. We have 20 lakh e-rickshaw. Our Secretary for Education was giving reference about it. It was my dream. And actually when I taken decision to make e-rickshaw, it is now 1 crore people in India, they already driving that mechanized driven rickshaw. आदमी आदमी को धोने का काम करता है. It's very bad, unfortunate and not good for humanity. The first time now the 20 lakh e-rickshaws are today. Now we are planning to going up to 1 crore. And the e-cart, e-food rickshaw, different type of models are now the industry is developing, and I am confident that this is one of the important thing which is going to create employment potential and going to reduce the pollution. We can electrify them, which will give size and scale of battery manufacturing. The e-commerce deliveries, taxis, small cart and goods vehicle. Just some before 1 month before, I launched the total vehicles from Amazon, all electric vehicles starting from truck to e-rickshaw. They have just taken 10,000 vehicles and they're running on electric. Actually, I launched their campaign. So a lot of people are now taking the example, and there's 100% going for electricity. I have also suggested to adopt electric cars for all government officers. Our government is actively working to support EV industry by framing the favorable policy in the form of incentives, GST exemptions, and FAME 2 scheme with an outlay of rupees 10,000 crore supports electric 2 and 3 wheelers, e-buses, 4-wheelers with incentives for commercial registration. Recently, our government has increased subsidy by 50% to rupees 50,000 per kilowatt hour on electric 2-wheelers. It will help to promote sale of electric 2-wheelers in a large scale. We intended to have EV sale penetration of 30% for private cars and 70% for commercial vehicles, 40% for buses and 80% for 2 and 3-wheeler by 2030. The government has facilitated sale and registration 2 and 3-wheeler electric vehicles without batteries to reduce their upfront cost. We have also exempted battery operated vehicle from paying registration fees to further incentivize the EV sales. Further, through the financial incentives such as 5% GST on EVs and an exemption on interest paid on loans, we are taking major steps to boost EV adoption in India. Some of the challenges for mass adoption of EVs are retrofitting of existing IC engines-based vehicle. The standard type approval and safety compliance, my ministry is actively working towards solving these issues. Our Go Electric campaign also seeks to promote the use of electric vehicles and other electric appliances which can also reduce pollution. For charging infrastructure, the domestic charging and lease model for EVs is becoming a popular option. Upcoming Delhi-Mumbai corridor of our express highway, we have already completed 60 to 70% of work, where it can be easy for all the people to take their car within 12 hours from Delhi to Mumbai. This is the Axis Control Express Highway. Now my vision and I'm trying my level best to make it e-highway. So we are now thinking for taking up lot of new technology. The Siemens has given one technology like railway. On the basis of that, there will be electric truck and buses, and they will take the power from the cable. And also there are a lot of technology we are working on it. The people like you who can guide us, and your research can be valuable for all of us. We aim to shift public transport on 100% electricity and are also working on more sustainable transport system like broad gauge metro rail. That is in Nagpur, we are planning to make broad gauge metro rail. That is really important. The ropeway, cable car, funicular rail and road train bus. Now presently the Prime Minister has given me the special responsibility and changing the rules of business by which all this public transport on electricity, particularly this ropeway, cable car, funicular rail, road train bus, this is now related with my ministry. I am inviting your lot of suggestions. This is the time that we can make our transport sustainable, import substitute, we will be pollutionless at 100% a very, very low cost for the poor people. That is exactly the need of the hour, and there is lot of potential for research and development. The EV sector greatly affect the component manufacturing sector too. There are over 8,000 MSMEs and another 50,000 in retails and distribution of components which generate over 30 lakhs jobs. So the growth of EVs is not only important for the road transport sector, but it will act as a key to achieve overall sustainable development goals in the United Nations. Mutual cooperation, coordination and communication among all the stakeholders is certainly going to help to bring more productive result in the EV mission of BRICS nation. I would like to once again thanks IIT Bombay for inviting me to address this forum and hope that you will continue to take such initiative which seek to empower and inspire the electric mobility roadmap in India. Your research, your innovation in the battery, in the e-vehicle, we are ready to support you. If some of the IIT want some help from the ministry also, we are ready for that. We want to support Chennai IIT for making research for hydrogen fuel cell. So regarding battery, regarding e-vehicle, even the industry is also ready to support you. Any IIT in India, if they want to take some special initiative for that, I will take special initiative to support you. Our education secretary is also here. The futurology, which is the development of our country, is very important. And already I always talking to the people that the knowledge is the power. And that is the important thing, that conversion of knowledge into wealth is the future. So innovation, entrepreneurship, science, technology, research, skill and successful practices, we are very much committed for that. At the same time, it is also a new, second philosophy is conversion of waste into wealth. By scrapping policy, we will get lot of valuable waste from that, which we will convert into value addition for it. It can be import substitute, cost effective, pollution free and indigenous. Even we can going to increase our export of four-wheeler, two-wheeler and transport in the transport sector. So it is really a very, very important subject. Our IIT is doing excellent job. Our research organization, the DRDO, the ISRO, all the people are now working on the same direction. And already I have organized a meeting with all stakeholders with Ministry of Science and Technology in the presence of Principal Advisor of Prime Minister for Science and Technology. And we have a very nice meeting. And now the whole institutions are focusing their all efforts on particularly how we can make the e-vehicle in India. We are also trying that lithium ion is not a shortage. There is no problem. Even we are talking with Argentina and countries like where we can get lithium from that. And there is no problem. 81% of the battery we are making within 6 months. I am confident that we will make 100% battery in India. We are encouraging biofuel, ethanol, biodiesel, bio-CNG. At the same time, hydrogen fuel cell and electric. These are all the important thing where these are the all indigenous fuel. And where we are going to increase more employment potential in the rural area, particularly in the agriculture, rural and tribal area, which is very, very important for our economy. So today it is really a great thing. The Brazil is, as far as the biofuel ethanol is concerned, is the leader in the world. At the same time, for electric, we are trying our level best to take India as a leader in electric vehicle. That is the dream of all of us, and we are trying. Our research is on that direction is going on, and with the cooperation of people like you, 100% we can achieve our goal. Very much giving my thanks to all of you giving me the opportunity, and it's really a pleasure. After your seminar, whatever your report may be, kindly give that report to me and my ministry, where we will take the decision as far as your advice. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
So thank you, Honorable Minister Mr. Gadkari. It is a wonderful pledge from our side that we'll work on this particular aspect. And also, we thank you for your continued support, and we request you to visit IIT Bombay and also maybe sometime with the participants to see the proposed center of e-mobility that we are doing, which will work on all the aspects that we are talking about. Whenever you're free, we'll do that. We don't see any specific question, but if there is any question, any quick question from anybody from the audience, I think we'll be happy to take a few, given that the time constraint we have. If anybody is there, otherwise we'll go to the closer of this. We'll request Professor Agarwal to go for the vote of thanks.
So good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Amit Agarwal, a professor in mechanical engineering and Dean of International Relations at IIT Bombay. It is my pleasure duty to deliver this vote of thanks on behalf of our institute. I am
just one minute. I think there is one question. How government is planning to set up charging infrastructure in small cities? If you could take the question, it would be possible for you.
Yes, actually we are planning for making of charging stations. But now presently the 2-3 companies who have already launched their e-vehicles, there is a special system which they are giving to the customer that in his home also he can charge. And there are a lot of changing technology, in particular the charging infrastructure. But our idea is now we want to make the petrol pump not with petrol and diesel, but with ethanol, with CNG, LNG and electric charging station. So we will support it. Already in new policy, government is giving the permission to the new companies where their worth is more than 250 crores. They can start petrol pumps, and there is a mandatory that they have biofuel pump and electric charging station. So when we will increase the number of cars, 100% we will get facility for charging. Even in the railway station, metro stations, even in a commercial complex, even in the big residential accommodation area where there is a parking places are there, and we can convert them into electric charging station. In my constituency in Nagpur, we have a big auditorium, Suresh Bhatt Sabhagruha, where we have parking of 1100 cars, where we have started the electric charging station. So there are new innovative ideas by which we can make the thing. But the only problem is that every day there is new technologies coming. So ultimately it is to be depending upon the company which is selling their car. So there are some different things are there. But somewhere we need to have some formulate the policy by which we need to take the appropriate technology by which we can give service to the people. But the most important thing is that on the parking place, if there is a availability and the car owner can charge his own car in his residence at night, it can be a good thing. So we can make the car for 450 kilometers, and every day night with 5 to 6 hours he can charge the car. Again morning he can go ahead. There is another option is that he can take the charging system with him in the car. Anywhere when he go to visit there for 2 or 3 hours, he can plug it and he can charge the car. So this type of sustainable, very easily available technology we need for that. On that, there are a lot of people are working, making research on it, and things are moving fast in India. I feel that it will not be a problem for that.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. We have one more question, if you can take it. When we can expect a national EV policy?
What is the policy? I am a minister. I am talking about the policy. I am giving you the idea. What is the new idea, policy you are expecting from me? I am telling to you, you suggest me and give me the letter. These are the suggestions. I will immediately take the decision, whatever you convince by me, and I will make the policy. I don't want to waste my time for making policy and making discussion between the thousands of people and wasting time for that. What you want? What you want to suggest me? Come to me, convince me. If you convince me, I will make the policy. I don't waste time for all this thing. Then policy will there. It goes to every department. हर आदमी अपना ज्ञानार्जन देते देते 2-4-6 महीने तो नोट ही नहीं आएगी. So I don't waste my time. I am in charge minister. I have got all right for taking all the decisions. You suggest me, I will decide. I will take the decision. You tell me what type of suggestion from your side. This is the policy. Don't bother about it. Nothing. Don't waste time and come to me. I will whatever suggestion from your side, I will take it and I will go ahead.
Maybe the last question for tonight. Okay. I think I'll go for a different person instead of the same person. Would it be better to have a replaceable battery system than stand and charge the systems?
Already we have swapping policies there, but it is depending upon the manufacturer, the market, and the consumers. We don't want to insist anything. We need, as a facilitator, we can create all type of facilities. It is up to the people to select the appropriate technology. So we don't want to make any influence on it. Let the people will select what type of model they want it. On the basis of that, we will facilitate all the models and we will support them.
Okay. So thank you. One last question, if you don't mind. Will CNG have share in public transportation along with electric?
100%. Already in Nagpur, my own initiative, we have converted 80 buses of diesel buses on CNG. And we have 2 CNG pump now. And now my own tractor is converted on CNG, and where the 1 lakh rupees saving is there. I am not only the minister, but I am making 18-ton bio CNG per day. And now we are going to convert into bio CNG into liquefy LNG, that is a bio LNG, and by transport it to the station. So we are making a lot of experiments in my own area. I am doing it. Now the first pump of LNG, I am going to inaugurate probably 2 days after it, a Monday or some Sunday. I am going to inaugurate that. So these are the options are open. And if you are going to convert one truck on LNG, cost is 12 lakh rupees, you will get your money back within 2 years. If you convert bus on CNG, as compared with diesel, there is a 60% saving is there. So it is import substitute, cost effective and less pollution. So all 100% we are encouraging CNG. The last thing where I need your help, that we are making CNG from rice straw. The 5 ton of CNG rice straw is giving 1 ton of CNG. And the student from IIT, Mr. Gondalekar, is in Pune. He has got a successful experiment making CNG from biomass. And the byproduct is sulfur. And even in the industry, there is byproduct is potash and carbon. So exactly this type of new technology where we are actually seeing to IIT's people that who can give us the alternative. In Delhi IIT, they are doing a lot of projects. Everywhere in IITs, they are doing the projects. We will encourage, we will support you. But my request to all IIT people that you make more research on conversion of making bio-CNG from biomass. Already there is a possibility in the sewage water. In Nagpur, we are selling our sewage water, making a recycling of water and giving it to Maharashtra government for power generation, where we are getting 250 crore rupees royalty from the sewage water. Now the idea is the organic waste and the press mud and rice straw, we will use it in a biodigester, and from that we can make 40 ton of bio-CNG per day. We are working on that experiment. My suggestion is the IIT people like you who can make more research, because I am not the appropriate person for research and technology and knowledge. As a politician, it is not my area. But I am trying my level best. I am doing experiment. I was started ethanol in 2009. I propagate it and make it as my mission. Today the ethanol is very popular, and it's be 100% ethanol is going to be within 2 years. It will be economy of 50,000 to 60,000 crore. And I am confident within 5 years, we will make ethanol economy of 2 lakh crore. That will be our import substitute cost effective pollution free. At the same time, we are doing Mr. Dr. Saraswat. We is successfully arguing from many days from methanol. We can make the low quality coal, we can make it methanol. Even we can make methane from that, and we can get urea also. And like in lot of products, we can make it from that. Already we are importing urea. So these are the sectors, which type of raw material which are available in the country on the area. You should be concentrate on the research by which your research can be helpful for the people of that particular area, and which can be import substitute, cost effective and pollution free. So 100% the IIT people can make the miracles. I am expecting the research from you, and we will support you for that.
Thank you, sir. I give it back to Professor Agarwal.
So thank you, sir, I'm really grateful to you. I'm really grateful to Honorable Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, Minister for Road Transport and Highways, also Minister of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Government of India, for sparing his time for this virtual conference and for sharing his insights. I know how busy you are, sir. I cannot thank you enough for finding time for this event. Your comments are particularly relevant to the theme of this conference, and it is very heartening. I mean, I'm very happy that you have charged us to do more research, and it's very heartening to see that the Government of India will be happy to take up our research and implement that. And so we will do our best to follow the suggestions that you have made and charged us with. I'm very grateful to Shri Amit Khare, Honorable Secretary, Higher Education, for addressing us today. Thank you, sir, for sharing your insights about the future of electric vehicles and for acknowledging IIT Bombay as the lead institute in the country. We will continue to seek your guidance in taking the institute to a greater height. I'm grateful to Professor Subhash Chaudhary, Director, IIT Bombay, for his opening remarks and for chairing this session. I'm grateful to IR Office, PRO, Computer Center, CDEEP, for their help in organizing the conference and giving wide publicity to the event. Thanks are also to the